For about a decade, Seycara has been one of my most favorite YouTube channels. While most YouTube videos are a one-time, one-view type of experience, music is a little different. You can listen to the same piece hundreds of times and never get bored. Seycara was special in this aspect because they made orchestral covers of popular songs of the anime-esque community, which were a breath of fresh air. Right now, an orchestrated version of the popular song Shelter by Porter Robinson is playing, and it really reinvents the song in a way that I haven't found anywhere else. Of recent, there's even been amazing original songs paired up with cute custom characters that are just so charming. And did you know that outside of YouTube, the creator of Seycara is a doctor? This man cooks, plays music, makes money, saves lives, and likes anime? He's the mythical Asian my mom is always talking about. And yet, he's still not famous. I guess I prefer it to be that way. I deeply appreciate YouTubers who take the time to do YouTube out of love rather than for views or money. It keeps the content genuine. To create something simply because you love it and for no other reason. That is why today, I'm trying to do just that. Today, I'll be making an anime figure of Seycara-chan, Seycara's official anime girl. I like anime girls. It was an insane project using 3D printing and laser cutters. I had to make a whole entire anime figure from scratch and even build a miniature grand piano, all for a very niche piece of fan art. This will be a longer video than usual just because of how much work and effort was put into this figure. But luckily for you, we'll have a great soundtrack to accompany. Let's get started. Welcome, Seycara fans, or at least that's who I'm catering to. Very few people watch my videos on original anime figures, so if there are more views, then it must be you guys. The plan here is to make a figure of Sei-chan based off the music video 642 Ways, an iconic Seycara piece. It's a cute scene with a unique expression, and it would be fitting for an orchestration channel to have a figure designed related to music. The original art piece was done by artist Xiao, and when studying it, it's cut off, which is wonderful. I get the fun part in artistic liberty. I decided to sketch the figure like I do with all my custom figures. In the original, there's a pianist, the fabled boyfriend, and Sei-chan as a singer. Unfortunately, I don't want to make two figures, so he'll have to go, but the piano is something I wanted to incorporate. A 1920s stage singer is such a unique scene and mood that it was pretty difficult to find any references, but I did manage to get this one. Instead of her implied standing like in the original artwork, I decided to make her sitting on the piano. This would make the piano a great base and make the figure much more interesting. Fun fact, in the original art piece, the dress is not symmetrical for some reason, which might be an error. Just for this piece, I decided to make it symmetrical because it just makes more sense. To further improve the whole entire scene, I added a phonograph on the right to balance her out, and a bench to complete the piano. For her outfit, I made a few changes, such as the bow on the back, some more jewelry, and the headband, which was apparently a common way of putting up your hair as she does in the artwork. After all, in 2D, you don't really have to think about how the hair is tied up or structured, but in 3D, that is not the case. Additionally, the hairband gave me an excuse to add a bow tie on the top, which is a vital part of Seycara's character that this original artwork lacks. This is the resulting design. I felt that the scene concentrates a lot of elements of the 1920s while keeping true to the original reference and song. However, this is a tall order of a project, perhaps the largest anime figure I've ever made. But if this man can run a quality YouTube channel while working as a doctor, then I can make an anime figure of a piano. Easy peasy. I plan to 3D print Seycara-chan, but the most interesting part of this video will actually be the piano, which I wanted to make out of real wood. This is because 3D printing a whole piano is kind of a waste of plastic, and it can really never capture that wood texture that real pianos are made of. But real wood? How does one go about doing that? Luckily, today, I have the TOOCCA L2, a new enclosed 20-watt laser engraver that can engrave and cut materials, wood being the most common. This tool allows for artists to create and design miniature models with ease, and I've wanted to use one for an anime figure project for a while. The TOOCCA comes in a huge box and requires assembling. It's not easy, but the beauty of this engraver is its huge work area. It's one of the largest laser engravers I own, and yet it still protects you from laser rays and smoke fumes. I'm sure it looks complicated, scary, and intimidating, but the results are worth it. This is the machine I'll be using to create the piano part of the model, and if you're interested in the product, it's linked in the description below. But before we enter that mess, we have to go into 3D modeling. Since 3D modeling isn't the focus of this video, I'll breeze over it. As always, I start off with a base mesh to make my life easier. Simply, I'll dress up this model like a doll, and then pose it later, and then get it 3D printed. The great thing is that Seychan's design is rather simplistic. It's just a black dress and some accessories. I model everything in a default pose, so I could rig it and pose it later. That also means that the microphone, phonograph, and piano had to be modeled even though it was going to be cut with wood, so I could use it as a reference. It is a lot of complicated work, but if you want to learn more about this, I have my other anime figure videos in the description below. Here is the finished figure in the digital realm. Now the piano is just a downloaded asset. Please, I would never want to model it from scratch. And plus, it's going to be laser cut instead. But how do you do that? Like, where do you even start? Well, let me educate you real quick. While 3D printing is usually easy and automated, laser cutting wood models requires IKEA level assembly. You have to use a 2D design to cut out some wood that will form into a 3D structure in real life. So essentially, the best way to do this is to 3D model the piano in pieces, which can then be flattened into a 2D design, which we can then cut out and piece together back into 3D in real life. Sounds like fun! Yeah! My favorite 3D modeling program for this is Tinkercad, a nice little kid's 3D modeling program that allows for very simple modeling. But it's actually perfect for designing simple laser cutting models for men. I'll import the piano model from before and begin using some squares to build a model around it, using it as a reference. Modeling here is different from in Blender because Tinkercad uses very simple measurements. I can design the piano to be built out of 1/8 inch wood, for example, and it'll translate perfectly to real life. This makes 3D modeling much easier, and it's like playing with virtual Legos. The great thing is that you can assume that the laser engraver will cut any shape to near perfect precision. So there aren't many limitations. To speed up the process, some complex shapes are extracted from the original model in Blender and re-imported into Tinkercad. When the model is completed, it unfortunately has to be disassembled. By doing this, you can gather all the pieces, rotate them, and then level them, and voila! It's like you have a cutting template. Then you can just organize the model for optimized cutting. As you can see here, I used different thicknesses of materials, so I organized them by different colors. To cut, you simply need to turn on your laser engraver and get some materials. I have 1/2 inch planks, all the way down to 1/16 inch planks, and even some 1/32 inch cardstock. I designed the whole model knowing I had these materials, which is the beauty of making it yourself. Then I go into Tinkercad and choose the pieces I want to cut. You can easily export each piece or pieces as a laser engraving file. Once you import it, the size and design are instantly translated into the program. Once you align the engraver, you can just click start. The figure was printed off screen because this video wasn't sponsored by a 3D printing company, and because this video is getting pretty long. But honestly, I do need a new resin 3D printer. My current one is okay, but it is pretty old and causes a ton of printing artifacts that need to be sanded. The wood piano needs the same treatment. I forgot that pianos are very smooth, like insanely smooth. I predicted this model would be hard to make, but not this hard. I started assembling it with some Mod Podge as the glue, and it's not really the perfect design, but it does work in my case. In hindsight, I should have sanded these wood pieces much more before painting them because I ended up sanding them a ton off screen after painting anyways. I was rushing through making this model, so I didn't strain my paints or clean my surfaces too well. This was true for the resin parts too. It was incredibly hard to sand these after they were painted. Lesson learned. The tricky part of the piano is the curved wood. I cut out a flat piece for the edge and put it into a steamer. This is apparently a common trick to make wood bendable. The heat and moisture actually does wonders to the wood. Using some clamps, I secured it to this mold I cut out prior, and it worked pretty good. Funnily, the biggest issue was that I didn't have any wood planks long enough to wrap around the whole piano, so I had to use 2 pieces. When it was dry, it looked great! To make it better hold its shape, I soaked glue into the inner side of the piece and reattached it to the model with a rubber band. By using watered down glue, it soaks into the wood and hardens its shape without being thick enough to stick to the mold. Then it was painted and attached. For the mirror-like finish found on grand pianos, I used a glossy polyurethane coat. This worked wonders, but was only as good as the surface beneath it. And no matter what I did, some dust and particles and mistakes prevailed throughout all my sanding, painting, and cleaning. I did try my best, however, and I'm sure these issues are just amplified because it's a miniature. This was my first time creating a texture like this on a model because most of my anime figures are matte, which is much more forgiving. The piano strings were actually insane. I pre-cut around 50 holes to match up with each other on each side of the piano so that I could put wires into them and string up the piano. It was here that I learned that a piano is technically just a big guitar. The actual piano strings here are just silver yarn weaved in and out of the paper clips, and it was much harder to do than it seems. For the piano keys, I originally thought of cutting out each individual key for accuracy, but that was a really dumb idea once I had to glue them all together. Instead, I went back to the engraver and engraved the piano key pattern on a piece of wood. Then on the front edges, I made the engraver cut deeper. From a top view, it would look like each key was separated while still keeping everything in one easy to use piece. And that really is the beauty of owning a laser engraver, to be able to create parts and models that really can't be done by hand or bought at a store. With the piano finally done, I switched back to painting the figure. The figure really is the easiest part of this model, and I'm glad I won't be making a miniature grand piano for at least a decade on my channel.
There's lilies that are flying in the sky while I dreamt of you. I was sleeping ever soundly by your side. Oh, my sweet, sweet honeydew. When moons start to change, the seasons fade, I'll always be true, and thinking of you, it makes my heart stand still. Whenever I feel that I am so lonely, I always know and always knew. There are 642 ways that I love you. There are 642 two ways that I love you. There are 642 ways that I need you. When days are too tough and life gets too rough, there's only one thing that I need. It's when you are holding me close. It's when you're holding me close to you. Sitting alone with the songs that we would play, our laughter and our smiles, still they sing with me today. Into the night, I'm still searching for those words and the music with those chords as they ring for a story of love. I've tried to forget you, but I knew from the truth it's always been everything else with you. As I lie awake, I've been praying, waiting, wishing to undo the fact that everything ends with you. And how cool it is that all my songs just vanish, except for those that you love
The finished figure is exquisite. With the right lighting, it matches almost perfectly to the reference. The pink hair glows within the dark blacks and browns, and the whole model just feels so warm. I thoroughly enjoyed the more classical theme this figure had, and working with wood was new and enjoyable. But the greatest beauty of this figure is that it's truly one of a kind. There is only one Seycara anime figure in the world today, and it's probably not going to change. I mean, who's crazy enough to make a miniature 1/10 scale grand piano for an anime figure, right? However, for those insane enough, I will be uploading all of my project files on my Etsy page as usual. For just a few bucks, the 3D printing files and woodcutting files will all be available for download. In fact, the figure is designed in a way where you can just omit the piano entirely and keep it simple, with Seycara-chan just sitting on the bench. This way, you won't have to do any woodcutting or complex building if you want to make a figure of Seycara. All of the links will be in the description below, and don't forget to check out Seycara. Every single one of their songs that were used in this video are also listed in the description below in order, so if you found something you liked, give them a listen. As for now, I really hope you enjoyed this anime figure making journey. Seycara really does have a special place in my heart, and hopefully after watching this video, you can understand why. As always, I hope to see you around again in the future, and be sure to make some more fun.